What's up, folks? So we're back again with an update on the Reefer 250. This is week 9. All going okay. The lighting at the moment is on. The colour's quite low. It's quite early on the day, it's only 12:30, so it's 43% colour. But that will increase as we go through the video. So it's quite bluish in there at the moment, but hopefully you can see from my last video, 8-week update to this week. Any changes? There's not a great deal of change. The only change really is coralline growth is going really good. More spots on the back. The spots that were there are increasing in size. You can see probably on the camera. But when you do these videos, this Kessel lighting isn't the same as what you see on the camera. Really, it's does mess around with the light quite a bit on what it records. But yeah, it's just expanded loads here, there, and everywhere. Everywhere that it was is increasing. It's a good sign. Just sort of pan about, give you a an idea, as you can see from the last video. So that's going good. I've got a few issues with. I've noticed over the past week or so that, and I say in every video I do, that the water is crystal clear, blah blah blah, which it is. But I've noticed this past week or so, towards the end of the day, there's like a white haze in the water, and you can't see on the video. I say the water looks really clear. There's a tiny white haze, especially towards the top of the tank. I know what it is, and I'll talk you through it. Basically, you forget that this is a very young reef. It's 9 weeks in. You forget that, and it's it's still changing. It's still maturing. It is cycled, obviously, because there's livestock in it. It's cycled, but that bacteria is still building up in numbers and still reproducing and maturing. So 9 weeks in, yeah, it's cycled, but you've got to think of the amount of livestock we've got in here. We've got those 8 green chromis, the 2 clownfish, 2 cleaner shrimp, clean-up crew, algae blenny and gold spot goby. Where's the algae blenny? There it is. And yeah, they've been in all the fish stock. I think it's about a month or so they've been in. And I'm feeding quite heavy, testing religiously, pretty much every day, all parameters. And these chromis are so greedy. This is the first fault newcomers to this hobby do, is they overfeed their fish, and because you can have all sorts of problems. But they just seem so hungry all the time, these chromis. So I have been being careful, but feeding quite heavy. A couple of blocks of frozen, a couple of pinches of flake, and a few pellets and that a day. And what's happening, I think, with this cloudy water is that my biological filtration with the live rock and in the media in the sump, it's not built up enough yet. So any organics in the water column, bacteria, it started growing up in the water column, hence the white haze, to deal with the organics. So basically the bacteria that's growing in the water column is out competing the bacteria in the filtration, the biological filtration, live rock, and in the biological tubes I've got. So that's what it is. I'm sure I've had it before. It's very common, the cloudy water. thing. So the way I'm dealing with that is obviously reduce the feeding. I've cut right back on the feeding. I've done a water change yesterday, my maintenance yesterday, went through all the sand. See, that's another thing as well. Been going through the sand, siphoning through the sand, and the turkey base are blown through the rocks and stuff like that, and there's quite a bit of detritus coming out. So, you know, that can give you a sudden bacterial bloom. They call it a bacterial bloom, the white clouding of the water. Luckily, it's not severe. It's only like a whitish haze to the top half of the water later on in the day. And the reason it's on later on in the day is because usually you're feeding during the day. Obviously, the bacteria and the filtration is not keeping up, hence bacterial bloom in the water throughout the day builds up because it reproduces. This bacteria that builds up in the water column, it's creating this white haze, reproduces every 15-20 minutes or so. So it just builds up and builds up and builds up towards the end of the day. Come down in the morning, look through the tank, it's absolutely crystal clear. I can't, you know, there's no white haze whatsoever. So it's had sort of 12 hours plus for the other bacteria to catch up, to outcompetes it, and it goes away. So I don't think it's a massive problem. But the way I'm addressing it is, like I said, reduce the feeding. I'm going to leave the sand bed alone as well, not stir it up at all. Just not do too much messing around with the tank. I'm also stepping up the water changes. I did a water change yesterday and all the maintenance I needed to do. I've increased the amount of carbon in the carbon reactor just to reduce the biological any organic soy in the water column. That'll help. And I'm also going to do a water change shortly, which I'm going to show you through the steps that I do to do that, because someone asked how do you do it, or what's your procedure for doing it. So I'm going to quickly do that, and I'm going to film it as well, so you know how I do it. So yeah, I'll show you inside. I think the sun's going well. Dosing's all going fine. My parameters are really good. Apart from this white haze problem towards the end of the day, no real issues. I haven't stopped obviously put any more stock in there. Again, you have to remind yourself this is only 9 weeks in. Obviously it helps. I'm trying to save some money up as well. Spent so much money. But the next stage is I'm going to add another wave machine, and some nice SPS coral frags at the top. Probably the next few weeks, maybe a month or so. So yeah, you'll have a bit more to look at in the tank. There's just so many ongoing costs. I'm a couple of months in from setting this all up and spending all that money. And the initial batch of salt I got, the 55-60 quid tub or bucket of Red Sea Coral Pro, that's out nearly enough. I've got about, I don't know, six weeks worth of water changes left, but I'm going to be stepping them up, so a few weeks left, so I'm going to need to buy another one of those. I'm nearly out of Roaphos. I need to get some more Roaphos and some more carbon. So yeah, there's always an ongoing cost with stuff if you're doing this, and just try and buy in bulk more, saves you money in the long run. So yeah, my water parameters, I just read through them. Just to say, if you're doing one of these reef tanks, or obviously if you're not new to doing this and you're experienced, you'll know all about it. If you're doing it right and successfully, you'll know and be doing the same as me, no doubt. But if you're new to this, and if you're not doing this, you've got to do this. Do you want to test the water a lot? Now, I'm a little bit OTT with stuff, but with these reef tanks you have to be successful. You've got to know what's going on, and you've got to understand all your parameters. Now, this is my little log. Doesn't have to be neat, just so you've got a record of it. I know exactly where this tank is, or what date, and what changed what, etc., and how it's changing. So yeah, I just do a sheet of A4, and at the top just label everything up. So you've got you've got date, alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, nitrate, phosphate, pH, salinity, temperature, and at the end these three boxes at the end of how much I'm dosing. magnesium, alkalinity and calcium. So they're, to me, they're the parameters I'm keeping a very close eye on, and they're really important. Obviously there's other parameters to check, but these are the main ones you need to keep an eye on a regular basis. So yeah, my ALK's at 11.4. Obviously my target is between 11 and 12, so that's good. Calcium, I want to keep that 450, 475. So 450, that's good. Magnesium 1350 to 1450, so 1400, right in the middle. Nice. Nitrate 0, phosphate 0, pH 8.1. That does creep up a little bit towards the end of the day when lights have been on all day, sort of 8.2 just. My salinity is at 35 parts per thousand. Temperature 25 degrees, and I'm dosing magnesium 3 ml a day, alkalinity 50 ml a day, and calcium 7 ml a day. That dosing system is programmed, so the magnesium is just once in the morning at 8 o'clock, 3 ml. Same with the calcium, that gets dosed 7 ml. And the 50 ml of alkalinity I've spread out into 5 separate dosing times throughout the day, just to spread it out a little bit, to keep everything a little bit more stable, 10 ml at a time. So yeah, that's that. You've got to keep that log, and you've got to know at all times what's going on. Then you become really familiar with the tank, and you sort of know where it's going to be, and you know, the more stable you can keep everything, the more successful it's going to be, and everything's going to thrive right. Corals will do well. It's mainly for me at the moment keeping everything stable. There's not a lot of obviously corals in here, but there's 2 pieces of SPS corals that, you know, they like things to be stable. Purple stylophora there, doing good, growing nicely. Slowed down, it's growing a little bit now. An initial spurt when they went in there for a few weeks, but it's slowed down, but it is still growing nice. Hystrix, the pink Hystrix, Ceratopora, I think it's called. Definitely got loads of growth on that. It's forking out. Me and my little boy, we keep an eye on each little branch. Sad, I know, but it's so interesting to see. You know, within a few days, you can keep an eye on one branch, and it's like this one at the end. See this one right at the tip there. It's not even a week ago, it's just one little point, and it's forking into 2. And yeah, so that's going really good. Corals are growing, shrimps are doing well, clams are fine. They're all wondering, where's our food? So today I'm just not going to feed anything, just to give the filtration a chance to catch up. Like I said before. Another thing as well, down in the sun, what I've done is that the return, it's really hard to know. They say with this reefer 250, so the return from the sun, how much it's flowing into to be dealt with down in the reaction chamber and back up again. They say 2,500 litres an hour, which is about 10 times the turnover. 10 times turnover, so which is 10 times the volume of this tank an hour. So yeah, that sounds about right. It's usually how I run my tanks. I've done before, 5 to 10 times turnover, and so you've got to work that out. So this Waveline DC return pump I've got, it's got like 6 lights, but there's a stage in between as well. So there's like 11 different levels. And it's a 4,000 litre an hour tank, but then you've got to take into consideration how much it's got, the head height they call, how much it pumps up by, the height it pumps up by, which is about 1.4, 1.5 metres. There's very little information available to see how many litres it's pushing at what level on the controller, how many litres per hour. So this bit of guesswork really. I had the controller set on, I think it was back just over halfway, which if you think it's a 4,000 litre an hour pump, you presume 2,500 litres. Then I was thinking, hang on a minute, that might not be enough because it's 1.5 metres head height. So they quote 4,000 litres an hour, but that's coming straight out of the pump. That's before it's had to push up gravity wise. So it's going to be less than that. So I was thinking maybe it's not enough turnover for the tank. So I upped it. I just put it on full chat, basically, full power. Which wouldn't be 4,000 litres an hour, probably be about 3,000. I thought that'd be okay. You know, it's not overkill really, because you've got to have enough time for when the water comes down, enough dwell time for skimmer and the reaction chamber equipment like the carbon reactor and the Rafos reactor to do its stuff with the water before it just passes by without even being dealt with. So yeah, I backed it off a little bit. So we're running it at just one stage down from full speed. So I'm guessing we'll be about 10 times turnover, about 2,500 litres an hour, because I think that may be another little cause for the white haze, the bacterial bloom. I don't know, it could be a combination of things, but these little tweaks I'm going to be doing, obviously we'll sort that out. So I backed off with the returns. There's more contact type down here, also in the back, in the rear, the last chamber where the pump is, there's a load of sintered glass media, biological media. I had a small bag in there up to about a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago, and I've just beefed it up, I've doubled it up and put loads in there basically now. So there's loads of surface area for the bacteria to build up. So that'll help as well outcompete the bacteria bloom. So yeah, everything's going well. There's questions coming in from people, can you do a detailed review of how you test and stuff like that. If you look back through my videos, you know what I'm testing, what test kits I'm using for the water parameters. It's the Salifert test kits. Down here, yeah, the Salifert test kits I'm using for everything, and I keep a little table, all the tables on the instructions for each one, all in the inside of the door here. It's just easier to read off when you've done your testing. I'm not going to do a detailed video of all that because it's pretty self-explanatory, and if you're running one of these tanks then you've tested before and you know it all works. But I'm testing every day: alkalinity, magnesium, calcium. Just till I get I fail with this dosing pump, and just tweaking it and adjusting it over the past few weeks just to get it right. That's why I'm testing every day. Some people would call that over the top, but it's better that way than the other way, and not knowing where stuff is and then wondering why things aren't going well. Well, it's because you haven't been keeping an eye on it. So yeah, I won't do a detailed video on that, but you can see what I'm testing for, and yeah. The other questions are, can you do detailed view and everything of the RO system, which I will do in a minute, because I'm just about to do a water change, so I can show you guys what I do for a water change, and I'll show you the RO and the salt mixing area in my kitchen. So I'm just going to pause the video now and be back in a minute. Okay folks, so we're back. Just got everything ready for the water change, and basically the reason I'm doing this water change, like I said, I did a water change yesterday, and I'm trying to deal with this bacterial bloom. So the more water changes you can do, the better. It reduces the organics in the water. It won't do the system any harm. If anything, it'll do it good, because you're just replenishing salt and all the trace elements, and all the levels are being boosted up. So there's no harm in doing 3 or 4 days worth of 10% water changes. It can only help out. So that's why I'm doing it, just to reduce the organics in the water column further down to sort this problem out. Right, so I'm going to do I'm going to be pausing the video here and there because I've not got a tripod, so I'm just trying to do this with it in my hand as well. But so this is the RO station and my salt mixing area. Looks complex. I just explained through. It's really quite basic. What we've got here, so, and excuse the mess. Obviously, this is under the sink storage area. So, like with many, you can store your rubbish underneath here that you use every day for stuff, cleaning stuff. But yeah, so RO unit. There it is at the back. It's a 4-stage RODI system, 50 gallons a day. Well, so it says, but you know, you never get that because your water pressure's never tip top, but water pressure here is pretty good. So there's a little brass tap there, straight from the mains pieces, the mains, and you get a supply tube, supply hosing straight to the unit. Goes through the 4 stages: pre-filter, carbon filter, membrane, and the DI stage at the end, which should just take the total organic, dissolved organics down to 0. So yeah, this is the tank that holds the water. In there is a digital TMC heater, a circulation pump, just a fluval circulation pump, and a Eheim Compact 1000 with a bit of hose to pump the water out. This rear chamber here, there used to be an old nano tank from 25 years ago. That's in my shed that is come in handy to use for this. It's there's a rear chamber here which I just use for keeping the plugs, storing the plugs and stuff in there that I've got up here to tuck away in there neatly. This cereal container is for the waste line, so when the unit's running, I pull this line out, put it in the sink, and I just put it in there when it's not being used, so only drip into that container. This green one's just when I'm topping up my RO reservoir on the reefer. I just use that as a couple of litres there, go 2 and 4th a couple of times just to fill that up twice a week. So yeah, this is filled up with water from the RO unit, and all switched on, being heated. It's up to temperature. Circulation pump is on. The salt's been in. It's only been in probably like 3 or 4 hours. I wouldn't recommend doing a water change with only mixing it up after 3 or 4 hours. Always let it mix it out the night before and do it the next day, just to it gets time to really mix properly. But I decided this morning, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I put the salt in about 8:30 this morning, 9 o'clock this morning. So if you're going to do that, leave it at least 4 or 5 hours and make sure it's fully mixed. And test the salinity. We're up to 35 parts per thousand, so we're ready to do a water change. So I'll be quite quick because we're 23 minutes into the video now. The first thing I do is I might have to pause this, but what we do is underneath here, everything is labelled and on switches. Yeah, that's another tip as well. Do that. Make sure everything's labelled, so when you've got to do maintenance stuff like this, it's easier to think, right, I need to turn that off, where is it, boom, and you've got a switch there dedicated to switch it off. So first things first, you've got a Riophos reactor, that goes off, carbon reactor, that goes off, skimmer off, and heaters, never forget to turn your heaters off. There, I've got protection in them for overheating, but better be safe than sorry. So that's all the reaction equipment's turned off and the heater's off, and the main one now is the return pump, the main big return pump which supplies the tank. That goes off, and you'll notice the water levels start to drop. It only drop a little bit, maybe 10 mil. And it all fills up down here. Back siphons a little bit till yeah, catches up in the tube. So once that's shut down, which we're nearly there, keep your wave machines running because it just keeps the circulation in the tank. So the fish and livestock don't really notice anything going on. What I do is this is Just a 10 litre bucket, green hosing. Now on the normal water change, what I do is I do siphon hoover the sand, but I'm not going to do that this time. If I want to do a quick water change, literally in there I've just got a small, I think it's a 500 litre an hour pump. I just connect the hose in there, in the top of it, and I try not to get water everywhere. Trying to do this one-handed is quite difficult. And I just chuck the hose into the bucket and switch a switch up here, which is that pump, water out pump. Just switch that, and we have water straight out the system into the bucket. So I'm just going to push pause quickly and dry my hand. So the first bucket's just filling up. That RO station, the water tank holds 26 litres. So I'm going to take exactly 26 litres out of here. Just filling up the first one now. You notice how silent it is without the tank running. You just hear the wave machine pumps. But yeah, okay, so it's just make sure we've got enough water out. Yep, so just make sure when you're doing this, you've got, you don't take too much water. You take exactly the amount of water you want out. It's how much water you've made up. So I'm just going to push pause again quickly. So we're back for the second filling of the 10 litre bucket. So I do 2 of these, so that's 20 litres, and then I just do it the third time up to 6 litres. That should be enough. Okay, so that's the last bit of water. Usually on the normal water change, the filter socks come out of the drawers. They get replaced for new ones that have been pre-washed out. I wash them with the jet washer every week. I change any row of phos or carbon in the reactors if I need to, probably every 3 or 4 weeks. I clean the skimmer cup, as you can see it's quite clean. It's cleaned this morning anyway, and that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to get rid of this water and be back in a minute. Just pause up. So we're now ready to put fresh salted up water into the system. It's just a case of switching a switch, letting this fill up. Again, keep an eye on the little markers in the bucket. You put exactly 26 litres back in the system. I really must get a tripod. So we're back again underneath here, and all I do is pour the fresh water straight into the sump. So we've put our 26 litres in, time to switch on everything. This is something you've got to remember to do. Always remember to put everything back on again. So heater's back on, return pump, switch that back on, and that will start pumping back up into the main display slowly. What's nice about these DC return pumps is that they start up slowly and slowly rev up to the preset speed. And then once the level goes over, you hear it gushing down towards the sump. And once it stabilises, there we go. Once it stabilises, it goes all silent. You might have to adjust the valve a tiny bit initially. That's all. But once that starts flowing down, carbon reactor, row phos reactor, skimmer goes back on. Make sure everything's turned back on again. All fired up. And that's it. That's how I do a water change. Quite simple. Basically, what's happening now in the RO session, the tank's empty, and I'm just flushing the RO system. There's a valve here. You turn on the mains. You turn this flush valve, tap. That flushes the system through. Do that for 10 minutes just to it preserves the life of your membrane. I do that for 10 minutes and then shut it off, fill the tank back up again, ready for fresh RO for evaporation. And the next water change for next week. So that's that. Let's just double check, make sure this is all going okay. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's how we do a water change. That'll just help reduce any more organics in the system and help this white haze. Ironically, the water's gone quite cloudy now because of the water change, but that should clear within half hour. And, just make sure everything's okay here. Yeah, it seems to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the video up now. It's getting a bit long, so 30 minutes. Any questions you've got, give us a shout, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, folks. Bye.